Wanted to open up the floor for any questions to Wong Fu or Anna. You can go ahead and step up to the mic. And before you ask the question, could you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, my name is Joanne Park. I'm from USC. I'm a communication student, and I'm also here as an intern for Asia Pacific Arts. I had a question for both Anna and Wong Fu. So I'm taking a bunch of media classes right now, and we're learning about gender representation and race representations in the media. And we found that a lot of Asian Americans have turned to YouTube to find non-stereotypical representations of themselves. And inspired by this, scholars have suggested perhaps we instill a curriculum amongst high school students where these high school students can create counter media like films or videos like what you do. What's something you can't see in mainstream media, like 3 Asian Americans as leads, as the guy, the main characters and stuff, and if that would be a fruitful way to encourage media literacy and improve representation of Asian Americans. And I just wanted to know if you guys have seen that already happening. Can YouTube be a formidable opponent to mainstream media, and do you think it can change it for the better? Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
It's already happening. It's definitely already happening. It's great. I think there's been a lot of people before us that have made huge strides for Asian Americans in the mainstream media, and now we're seeing the product of it, and now I think it is a very good time. But there's still a lot of work to be done. But because of YouTube, it's definitely changing the way a lot of people are seeing Asian Americans. I think even if you even look at people's comments or the reaction to videos and stuff, people are saying, "Man, I wish I was Asian now." When was that ever something? And we have friends where it's they go to their school and they're now the stereotype is, "Oh man, Asians are really good at dancing." I'm like, that's awesome. I mean, even if it's a stereotype, it's that's cool. But no, I think the image is changing, but there's always work to be done, and it just needs to happen more often. I mean, YouTube is just one area, and there's a lot of people like Wong Fu Productions that are out there on YouTube trying to represent well, and they're crossing over and things like that. So I think in the next few years, it's gonna hopefully be real good.
Well, in my day job, I do the CFC Media Lab. In my night job, I produce stuff. And so we've actually just produced the first interactive Filipino-Canadian and Filipino-American musical on YouTube called Prison Dancer, which will have its performative cinema here on Thursday night, March 15th, as the closing night gala. And what we found is that it's really important to think of global audiences. So it's really about the more you narrowcast, the better, in fact, because now that you're on this this global network, it doesn't actually matter if you're only targeting Filipinos because they're all over the world. And so it's really interesting how this type of narrowcasting can impact the types of things that you're studying. And we see that most of our audience is almost evenly distributed from the Philippines, the US, Canada, UK, and Australia, and the Arab Emirates, where there's a large Filipino diaspora. So it's cool.
Any other questions? Yes, over here. And feel free, if you guys have a question, to go ahead and come up to the microphone as well.
Hi, thanks. My name is Steve Michael. I'm a filmmaker. I'm just trying to get a grip on what's happening here. I'm just starting out, and I'm wondering if you folks can address an issue that I'm perceiving, I'm confronting, I'm struggling with, which is I'm trying to find Asian actors for my short film, and for some reason I'm not able to find them. My film deals with actually a kind of a certain segment. It's an older demographic. So when I'm coming to this film festival, I'm seeing mainly what I perceive to be young Asian Americans producing films about other young Asian Americans, and being directed by other Asian Americans, and acting being done by other Asian Americans. So I'm kind of concerned about inclusiveness and what, if anything, you folks have And I think that has to do with something with what you just mentioned earlier, what you folks are doing besides aiming at, I don't know, young Asian Americans. Sorry.
I would say that I would love to make like films that include. I think we've had like some parts too where we're like, man, we need like a older Asian male or female, and it is hard to find. But I think it's because if you look at the generation or the time that they came from, no one was trying to become an actor.
You're a doctor, engineer,
yeah,
scientist,
or their immigrant families, or like if they're really of that age, they didn't even come to work. They're coming because of their children who immigrated here. So I think it'd be awesome to like the best way or that we've thought about going is just asking people's grandparents, hey, do you think your grandparents would be down to just do this? And you're not looking for professional actors. You're just looking for genuine people that might not care about the camera and might not care about doing the same line a few times. And we've done that. We've really just been like, hey, we need your grandma.
Yeah, we've been a bit unconventional just because of the way we were taught or not taught. So we've actually found that using just friends or friends of friends that happen to be able to act is actually sometimes easier than finding actual actors. And it's also a different mentality too. It really depends on the film that you're trying to make. But for us, making online media and the stories that we're telling, we're looking for like just a very casual, honest look into a normal life. An Asian American that's totally normal is what we're trying to portray. And we found that using our friends and just acquaintances helps.
We even find it hard to just find just like middle-aged like Asian men and women, so we end up just asking their people's moms and dads.
We're actually casting right now.
Yes.
Any other questions? One up.
Yeah.
Quick question. We have literally 1 minute.
1 minute, okay. My name is James, filmmaker, also in the photovoltaic industry. In regards to the ROE, the rules of engagement for media, I'm hoping that we could steer it toward more of a tacit approval among entities on the internet as opposed to more legislative ideas, nothing in writing, because I think to maintain the freedom that we have is key. So that's all I wanted to say.
Do you want to respond?
Sure. The only thing I'd say is it's less about the actual structures that I'm talking about. It's around, it's actually more complicated because it means that audience members need to be a lot more responsible for the media that they're consuming and deciding to pass around, in the same way that filmmakers have to be responsible in terms of letting audience members exactly know what it is that they're passing around or what their call to action is going to do at the end. So it's actually about requiring, as we move into this networked environment, it requires everyone to become a lot more responsible. And so how are we doing that in the education media space, and what does that take to make that happen?
Anna Serrano, Wong Fu Productions, we want to thank you so very much. Yay!